Oh, there's something in the river up ahead! What's going on here? This can't be right!
What's that word?
This is Evan. Evan is having a bad day. Due to impatience and overconfidence, he's crashed his car into the river, and to make matters worse, it's sinking. In this video, I will show the story of the rescue operation and also talk about what to do and especially what not to do if your car ever gets submerged in water. But first, I'd ask for a little discretion from my viewers when commenting. This was a big mistake and Evan is at fault for it. He did not inspect the depth of the water or discuss it over with his convoy members. He made a mistake and he knows it. But before you get all sour and attack him in the comment section, please remember a few things. Everyone makes mistakes. Evan has already been severely punished financially for his, and it's not a mistake that he will ever repeat again. After watching this video, I hope we can all learn from his mistake too. So please be civil, sit back, and enjoy the epic tale of Evan's underwater Delica. It all started with a bad decision. A week ago, this river was very different, but a heavy rain came and completely changed the layout of the riverbed. Seeing a road on both sides and calm water in the middle, Evan thought it was safe to cross. What he didn't know is that calm water means deep water. Realizing that things were going to get worse before they got better, Evan grabbed his electronics and climbed onto the roof of his car. We immediately hooked up a tow rope and tried to pull him out. But with an extra 2 tons of water in the car and no space to build up momentum, we were unable to even budget. Evan started calling everyone he knew, and we went in search for some vehicles that might be able to help. Soon we found a tow truck that would pull us out. The fee was 8,000 NT, which they probably thought was easy money at the time. Unable to pull the car out by itself, the rescuer asked for help, but then help started having its own problems too. This little tire spin is foreshadowing of bigger issues to come later.
Whoa! Whoa! Let's see what this guy's... Whoa!
They first tried to pull it out in a series, and then again in parallel, but neither worked. The car was stuck on a large stone. They weren't going to pull it out without witches, so they called more friends to come and help. While waiting for the cavalry to arrive, I went to try out my new water toys, which had been the mission of the day before Evan's accident.
It's love at first sight! This duck is so big! Whoa! Pillow rock! It's so big it just goes over the rock, no problem. Woo! Oh, here's the big one! Made it over! I'm out on the sea, just my duck. Yeah, man, it's massive. So he just got washed into his car?
Yeah.
Ah, damn it. Ah, I already got a quote. It's gonna be like 100,000. Huh? Yeah, it's gonna be at least like 100,000. Yeah. Might be cheaper just to get a new one and sell for parts. I have a fully built engine, right? So now this white Pajero, it got taken by the water and crashed into Evan's car. It's hooked on a rock right now, Evan's car, that's why it's not moving. Plus, it's pretty full of water. Pretty full of water. It is completely full of water. It is a swimming pool inside there right now. But it's weird, the lights are still on. Look, the back lights are still on. I don't know why it's not in reverse. I guess it's shorting out the battery in the water. He's the boss. Oh! 等一下，我们这个海洋市区的老板来了。Wow, look at that winch, man.
要路来了。In there.
He said it's not safe to be in there.
It's not safe to be in there. Get out of there.
Yeah.
If it goes over, get out of there.
And if it flips or something, you'd be in there.
Just don't be in there. It's not a good idea.
You think you can flip it? No, Wade is saying it's not safe to be in there in case if it flips over, you'll be trapped. The local guys want Evan to be in there to control the steering, but we're concerned that it might flip, so we don't want him anywhere near that car, and we're putting our foot down and making him get out. Then you being in there would have no effect. It's going over! Let's talk about what's going on here. Okay. In my carelessness and confidence, I thought I could cross this river, and when I got in it, the front immediately sunk. Water immediately started coming in, and I tried to get it in reverse back out, and the engine started stalling. So either it was getting water in there, or whatever was happening, I don't know. But regardless, this is the result of that, is the car is completely submerged now. And in the process of this rescue, one of them has gotten stuck and actually floated down the river into my car. And now as they're trying to pull it out, it's about to tip over. I think you're happy you're not in it. Yeah. Do you have a vehicle that might solve your problem? Here. So I think I have the perfect vehicle for Evan. Yes? Yeah. Solve it all. Now it's just trying to cross the river in this.
Man, this duck can't see it. The eyes are on the side of its head. Like, the eyes are here on the side of its head. And when you go around to the front, you can't see the eye. So I'm in this blind spot.
Dude, the water is over the steering wheel now. The water's almost up to my fucking air pressure. That's my pride possession of this car.
Actually, you know what? That guy is right. I shouldn't be anywhere near this car. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out. Yeah, that guy is right. What's going on is that these cables, when they're being pulled on and when they have tension, they can snap. When they snap, they have a lot of force and they can cut a car in half. So if they can cut a car in half, just think what they can do to a person. So what you want to do is you want to be far away and to the side of them, because when they snap, they're going to snap in the direction of tension. So you want to be as far away from them as you can, and also to the side. As long as you're to the side and not behind them or in front of them, you'll be okay.
That was them just breaking one. Cable snap.
And as I was talking about it, one just snapped, and that's why you don't want to be there.
Yeah, they just stuck on me.
Hey, they got it out!
Yeah!
Because there was water potentially in the engine, you don't want to turn your car on at all. The water won't compress, so when you fire up the engine, it'll just blow the piston right through the cylinder wall and just totally mess up your engine. So if you ever get your engine completely underwater, don't run it at all. Get it towed to a shop and have them take it apart, drain all the water out before you even attempt to turn it on. Otherwise, you'll just destroy your engine. A short while later, they had this car running again. The snorkel prevented water from getting in the engine, so all he has to deal with is a wet interior. A snorkel is a very important piece of equipment, and it's something that the Delica was missing. Evan never had the intention of driving in water that deep, but accidents happen, and a snorkel may have helped him back out of there. So, one car is out, so let's hope we can get the next one out now. See what happens. Finally, with two powerful winches, the Delica was pulled across the river and up the other side. It would be towed to the bottom of the hill, and the next day we'd hire a truck to take it to a mechanic. The car was out of the water, but we were still unsure of the condition of the engine. If it had been turned off in time, it would be fine. If water had gotten in while it was running, the engine would be ruined. Evan didn't have much hope for its survival, but we wouldn't find out for sure until the next day. Evan doesn't drive a Delica, he sails a Delica. And actually the problem wasn't that you hit water, you hit land.
Was I hit a stone and it broke the valve stem and my tire went flat, and that's what caused it to sink down so much. So yeah, I guess the lesson that I learned from this is you really need to check the water depth that you're gonna ride through.
That's a good lesson, and I will tell people that it's not just for cars.
Yeah.
You need to check the water depth for like
even walking,
diving or crossing the stream.
It's a good learning experience, but you know, it's one of those learning experiences that I don't want to
but I feel
experience again.
I feel quite fortunate because I feel like I got the full benefit of the learning experience by watching you go through this horrible like ordeal, and I didn't have any of the problems associated with it. Just the learning, yeah. Yes, thank you actually.
I've ridden through that trail at least 3 or 4 times. Like,
I rode through that trail just a week ago.
Yeah, that's what Wade was saying. You guys crossed it, no problem.
But according to the sensor at the bottom of the bridge here, the water's 30 centimeters deeper than it was a week ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. However, the sensor at the bottom is not necessarily a good indication of what the water is upstream. You know, 80% of the water in that river is being taken out and diverted into a canal right above the sensor. So the level at where the sensor is more of an indication of how much water they're taking out or not taking out, and less of an indication of what the actual level of the river is. So you took a look at your engine though, and you said it doesn't look like it's exploded.
No, there's no broken parts on the engine block. Nothing came out of it. So
If what Wade was talking about there, where you send a piston through the cylinder wall,
that did not happen.
would that okay? So that would be noticeable just by looking at the engine from the outside.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but
there's that.
it's possible that if there's water inside the piston, it could bend the connecting rod from the crankshaft to the piston.
Okay.
If those are bent, it's not good as well.
Okay. So, but we're going down the levels of like things that can go wrong. So, like the worst of the worst didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, if it bent the connecting rod, it's pretty much the same as it exploding the engine because.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta completely disassemble it to.
All right, because you got to get it out.
Okay.
And that's something you can't see from the outside.
Right. So that is gotta go back to the shop and investigate.
So I think the first thing we should tell my audience doesn't need to know this. They're pretty smart. They can figure it out themselves. But the first thing you should do is not drive your car really deep into a river.
Right. Yeah.
But if you do drive your car really deep
Turn
into
it
a river,
off immediately.
there you go. That's what I want to know. So tell us exactly what should happen, what you can do to save your car and prevent sort of
Hydrolock.
complete disaster.
Yeah, so when your car goes in the water and it's too deep and you have no way of getting out, just shut it off. That's the best thing you can do. Even if it's flooded with water, if it's shut off, your engine will not be destroyed.
It's kind of like if your phone gets wet, right? Just turn it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it dry out before you use it again. Unfortunately, that isn't what happened.
Oh no, I'm stuck.
After realizing he was stuck, Evan should have turned off the engine immediately. That smoke is a bad sign. And it's possible that this few second delay will cost him 100,000 NT or more. There is a crack in the engine block. It isn't repairable. There is some good news though. The Bashguard, a series of metal plates on the underside of the car, protected everything under the car from being damaged. That's pretty impressive, especially considering how heavy it weighed with the water in it and that it was dragged across rocks for several hours. This is good news because not only can many of these parts be salvaged and reused, but it also protected the engine and transmission fluids and prevented oil from leaking into the river. I'll put a link to where to find one in the description. Evan is going to need a new car, and that's pretty devastating for him. But we all learned a lot, and no one was injured. That's how I try to live my life every day.